Welcome, Bobcat Nation, to our latest edition of our Coach's Corner. With me in this edition is J.D. Lamm, head coach of the men's and women's golf teams. Coach, thanks for being here.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Coach, we interviewed you a couple weeks ago just to let people know who you were. Maybe it's been longer than 2 weeks. Time flies in August, preparing for everything.
Yeah, it's gone by really quick, for sure.
But as a first-year head coach here, you got your first tournament under your belt for the men and the women. They both were down at Daniels, West Virginia, down at Glade Springs in the intercollegiate tournament. It got cut short by rain. But let's talk about the women first. They took second place, and we're having an internal discussion here in athletics if there's been a higher finish for a team. And I know that you have certainly caught the attention of at least the athletic department here with the women's golf team and that impressive finish to start. So I'll let you just talk about that, and then we'll kind of go in a little bit deeper.
Tell you what, I'm impressed with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the women's golf program here at Wesleyan hasn't done anything like this in a little
Mm-hmm.
while. I'm not sure if they ever have. So I didn't know that till I got back, but it's impressive. I'm really proud of them. You see, most of these teams in the conference have one, maybe two players that are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But you count 4 out of 5 scores.
Right.
Okay? So most of these teams don't have that third or fourth player.
Right.
I've got 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3 of them are freshmen.
Right, and that's what I was going to bring up a little bit. Right.
And so we're good this year. Next year we could be really good. When those freshmen have 1 year under their belt,
Right.
it's going to be impressive. I'm excited for it.
And you guys were kind of all really tight there on the scorecard with your players, Beverly Toothman and Whitney Mahone, 2 of your freshmen that you talked about, and sophomore Sandra Brink. I mean, she is so talented, but she's a sophomore. All shot 78s, and then you had another freshman, Kylie Day, with an 80.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, you're talking about 4 scores right there that are very solid scores.
Yeah, absolutely. Bev, she hit it as good as I've ever seen anyone out there hit it.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to watch. When they play good like that, it makes coaching a heck of a lot easier. I just got to sit back and watch and have a good time. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Now, how many teams were on the women's side?
I think there were 9 teams, 8
Okay.
or 9 teams competing.
Okay, so I know sometimes we have finished like second in like a 3-team meet
Yeah.
or a 4-team
Yeah.
meet, but this was a full one.
Mhm.
You know, like you said, 9 teams are second out of 9 teams, which is just fantastic. How disappointed were you that you got 2 holes in on Friday, or I'm sorry, day 2 on Tuesday? How disappointed were you that your women weren't able to go for the team title?
I was really disappointed. I understand why the decision was made. There were
Right.
a lot of schools there that had long drives back, and they wanted to make sure that the kids got back in time to get some sleep and get to class the next day. But I was disappointed. We were only 5 shots off of
Charleston, right?
and I mean that's 1 shot per person.
Mhm.
So we were there. So I was definitely disappointed. The Charleston coach actually came up to me and shook my hand and said, "Your girls are the real deal, aren't they?" I said, "Yes, they are. This is going to be a fun year." So
And how encouraging is it, because over the fall and the spring, you guys are at Daniels a lot down at Glade Springs, maybe different course, but how encouraging is it to a place where you may be potentially another 2 or 3 times in the fall and spring to play that well first time out?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, essentially, even though this is a big tournament we just played in, it's almost like a practice round for conference.
Right.
So the more they see it, the more comfortable I feel, for sure.
Now, where do your women head off to this weekend? You're at Erie, PA, right?
Yes, we're going to Erie. We're playing in Gannon's tournament. We leave on Saturday.
Okay.
I believe it's a Lake Shore Country Club we're going to.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's 5.5, 6 hours up there. Going to be a little cold.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to have to bring some sweaters.
Right. And this is all new to you. I mean, you're kind of a kid from North Carolina. Some of these courses are new to you as well. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd never seen Glade until a few days ago. So it's exciting for me. I'm learning a ton, just like the kids are learning a ton.
Right.
So this is great. It's been a fun adventure.
Right. Your men, the team didn't perform as well as maybe you'd hoped. I believe they finished 14th out of 18 teams, but I'll let you talk about their performance as well. I know you had a couple nice individual performances.
Yeah,
team
yeah.
first.
I mean, obviously, we want to do better. Unfortunately, the guys didn't have their A game. One of the biggest positives out of it, though, was Zach Chapman, freshman, 76, 76.
Right.
He did not have his A game, and he kept it in the ball field. Okay, I was very proud of him. He's showed a lot of potential. 76 isn't really what I want. I want even better than that, but for a freshman, his first collegiate tournament, when he really didn't play that well, to still kind of keep it there, I was very happy with him. But overall, obviously, we have some work to do. The biggest thing we need to work on is our short game.
Right.
I don't care how bad you hit it. If your short game is halfway decent, you should still be able to score. I tell them all the time, you should be able to miss 18 greens and get up and down 18 times and still shoot 72.
Right.
So I'm not concerned at all really about their ball striking. I'm concerned about the short game because that's where you score.
Right. Yeah. And Nick West, one of the veterans on the team, had a top 25 finish too. What's his presence like out there, being someone that has been around the block, so to speak?
Oh, he's a leader for sure. I think I've said this before, but my biggest expectation of the returners is to kind of guide the freshmen. They've never been in this situation before. Hopefully they respect me, but the freshmen look up to the returners probably more than they look up to me.
Right.
So it's a big responsibility for guys like Nick West to kind of take those freshmen under their wing, and he's done a good job of that so far. I'm proud of him.
Right. And I do want to let Bobcat Nation know we had a typo in the story as far as one of the players. You got two Chapmans on the team. One got input into golf stat incorrectly, and we reported it incorrectly. It's Zach Chapman that had the low round for you guys, not Colin Chapman.
Correct.
So by the time you guys watch this, that will be corrected, and we apologize to Zach on that mistake. Now the men kind of go down to, I think it's an interesting concept, the Battle of the Virginias down at Bluefield, 1 day, 2 rounds. What's that going to be like?
It's going to be more of an endurance test.
36 is a lot, even at the collegiate level.
It's like when I took the PAT, it's 36 holes in 1 day. By the end of it, you're tired.
Yeah.
That's why team workouts are so important anymore. I mean, back in the day, golfers did not lift, golfers did not exercise. We need
the John Daly training method.
Exactly. But basically, the kids who are in better shape are going to be the ones who outlast the others with this. So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun though.
Right. And since we talked to you last, you've also added an assistant coach. I think it's important to make mention of that. Cindy Chris, our first-year men's assistant basketball coach, has kind of joined you to help out a little bit. I'll let you talk about what it means just to really have an assistant. I know for one person to handle 2 teams and stuff, but what is he going to be able to bring to you guys?
Well, Sid has some collegiate golf experience. He played a little bit in college, so his knowledge of golf is right there with anybody else out there. The biggest thing that he brings to the table, he's from West Virginia. He knew everyone down at Glade.
Yeah.
So just the connections that he brings to the table, that's the biggest thing. But just to have another body there to kind of keep me in check when I make a mistake, I keep him in check when he makes one. It's just it's nothing but positive for sure.
All right. Well, Coach, they said your women are definitely off to an incredible start. Hopefully they can keep that going up at Erie, PA. Hopefully you get some decent weather up there as well.
I hope so. Cross your fingers.
And hopefully the men will get back on track and bring their A game down at Bluefield. So, but congratulations on this past weekend and all the success both teams had, and continued success this weekend.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll check back in a couple weeks and see how the golf team is doing. So, all right, Coach, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Bobcat Nation, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, thank you for viewing.